Predictable podcasts.
Predictable podcasts.
There's a million of them out there, babbling about the same old boring stuff. But trust me, my friend, this is not one of them. This is Diary of a Bald Man. He's bald, and he's completely off his damn rocker, and I love that about him. Safety, dinosaurs, relationships, the many uses of a can of Raid in the bedroom. Hold on. Did I read that right? What the f*** happened there? All right. Let's do this. Welcome to Diary of a Bald Man. Now your host, the cue ball himself, Alan Wooford.
Hey everybody, this is Alan Wooford. Thank you for joining me today on Diary of a Bald Man, and I'm joined today by Matt. And Matt, if you would, please introduce yourself to all of our listeners.
Hi Alan, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. As you said, my name is Matt. I'm from East Hampton, Massachusetts.
Well, brother, thank you. So, for those that are just joining us on today's show, Matt didn't reach out to me. I actually kind of semi-stalk him on TikTok. And one of the reasons I do this is, as I first joined in and I was going through looking at things that inspired, and Matt was going through basically a daily mile. And when he got on, he was saying, hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time of day. And, what inspired me was just the simple fact it was a simple statement. It was a simple, introduction, and basically he was coming out and he was out on the streets, and it could be anything. It could be daylight, evening times. And so, Matt, what do you do when you're not on TikTok inspiring your followers and others to get out for the daily mile?
First of all, Alan, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. It's truly an honor, and thank you so much. I really appreciate it reaching out to me to invite me to this podcast. When I'm not running the daily mile, I have a full-time job. I'm a psychotherapist and clinical supervisor to a children's psychotherapy, family therapy program. So that keeps me very busy.
I can only imagine. I mean, I can only imagine. So with you dealing with people with, psychotherapy and helping out in that manner, how did this whole thing get started? And was there someone that inspired you, outside of your work? Was there something that said, hey, with this daily mile, you can inspire people just by simply getting out there? Or was this something personal, or did it have something, close to home that got you out there and involved, the TikTok community just with the simple statement and bringing us together?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the question. There is one guy that inspired me to start running the daily mile. I don't know how I found him, but he is on TikTok. He goes by the name of Crew Mahoney.
Oh.
He's been running for over 1,700 days.
Wow.
And to me, that's just so inspiring. I've actually talked to him several times through Zoom, and he has been super helpful in my daily mile runs. Because one of the things that I've always struggled with was commitment. I was the type of person that would work out for a couple weeks and then quit. I would try literally like every workout from P90X to yoga to resistant band training to traditional strength training, and I would do that for a month or two, and I would just quit. I would purchase a gym membership, and I lost count how many times I quit the gym, to the point where it was actually embarrassing to quit again. And
I can't see you quit. I cannot see you quitting on anything.
A lot has changed since I started the daily mile. I I'm surprised myself every single day about the strength I have to do this, the inner drive I have to do this, um, and I'm not surprised you say that, because many people feel the same way. Especially people at work. They know I'm gonna be running the daily mile no matter what. And sometimes people will just ask me, well, what if it rains or snows? And
I'm going to ask you that.
and I and I always respond to them and to you now that it's going to get done no matter what. My wife knows that. My family knows that. My TikTok community knows that. It's going to get done. It's no longer. I don't give myself options, and that's one of the things I learned from my friend Crew Mahoney, is that the minute you give yourself the option to not do it, there's a pretty high chance that you're going to not do it. So I don't even give myself that chance. It just has to get done, whether in the morning or in the evening.
That is amazing, brother. How do you get yourself into a mindset like that? Because some of our listeners, including me, I'm not going to lie, there's days when I try to develop habits. I try to do things that are beneficial to myself and in extension, to people that rely on me for either safety or health and safety. How do you, just Matt, how do you prepare yourself to say, hey, I need to get out there and do this today? What is it that your goal is?
Great question. And I have a lot of answers to this with a story, if I may.
Please.
But first, it's just become a daily routine. Just like brushing my teeth, eating dinner, taking a shower. It just has to get done. There is no option. There are days where I don't want to do it. I'd rather sleep an extra hour,
absolutely.
Watch TV. There are days where I do run the daily mile, and I ask myself, man, I miss having a day off from running. So I'm not any different from everybody else. I do have struggles with motivation.
Right.
There are days where I don't want to do it, but I don't give myself the option to not do it. It has to get done. I'll give you one example. There was a few months ago at work, I missed my morning mile in the morning, so I was going to do it at night. I normally work until about 5 or so, but there was like an 11th hour emergency at work, and that I wouldn't be able to get to for like another hour and a half, so maybe like 6:37. And there was a part of me that was panicking. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I haven't gotten the daily mile in yet, and I'm going to be stuck at work for a while. So in between that hour buffer time, I literally just put my sneakers on, left the office, and went for a mile run. Came back and then attended to the work emergency. It had to get done. It had to get done.
I like the fact that you self-motivated, but when you first came out with this, I mean, was it to fulfill something? Was there any benefit to others with you doing the daily mile, or was it like, and there is, some flow through by benefiting yourself, you can put out to others. What was the inspiration behind this where you said, hey, I got to get this done because, by me doing this daily, by me developing these really good habits, I can push it on to others? Or what was the catalyst that drove you to this?
I'm not sure I understand the question. I post the videos for accountability and to inspire people, but
yes, sir.
I'm going to run whether I post the video or not. A lot of people on TikTok ask me, do you run more than 1 mile? Have you lost weight from it? Do you feel better? And yes, I have lost a little bit of weight from it. I do feel great after my run, but those are not the reasons why I do this run. I do these runs because I want to increase my mental resiliency.
Oh, okay.
I want to run no matter what. Even at work, I joke with my colleagues that I'm going to run when there's a flood, when there is rain, snow, nuclear waste, whatever. I'm going to run.
You should be a postman.
Yeah, maybe I will. Just don't tell my supervisor that.
Matt, that is outstanding because I can tell you from experience, when I was in the military and people say, okay, we're going to get out, we're going to PT, and, whether it's rain, sleet, snow, hail, like, kind of jokingly with the post office and stuff, that determination, that grit, and that perseverance that you show, that's amazing. But I got to ask you, I'm just curious, how many pairs of shoes have you been through? Because I know you're up past 120-something, daily miles. So how are your shoes holding up? And is there a preference to what you have to help you make you through this run? Or this walk, whatever you prefer to call it.
Yeah, great question. But before I answer that, I just wanted to thank you for your service to the country.
Oh, I appreciate it, bro.
Thank you so much. I still have the same running shoes that I started. It's the Clifton 8 Hoka. I've been using those since day number one. I'm not noticing any kind of defects, so I'm still using them. I'll probably use them for another 100 miles or so before I switch over. But I haven't had to replace my shoes yet.
Well, I want you to throw the name out there because I want them to be representing you on this daily mile, and send you out some new insoles, maybe get you some new tread patterns and stuff.
Oh,
and,
that'd be great.
You do the R&D, and it's like, wait, hey, you got to take care of Matt. You got to take care of his lower spine. Make sure he doesn't get shin splints because what you're doing is, really incredible. And it's kind of strange because when I click through your videos, and I make sure to look daily because I get an idea of the weather that you're going through, and it's like, this gentleman, and excuse my language, Matt, you're more badass than most of the people I know because it's like, I'm seeing you run through all kinds of temperatures, not knowing the extremes, but I'm guessing, with your location, Maryland, Delaware area, it gets pretty cold out there.
Yeah.
What's the coldest you've had to run in that you know of that you legitimately looked and said, you know what, it's like 10 degrees out there, but I got to get this mile done?
That sounds about right. I mean, I live in Massachusetts, Western Mass, so it gets pretty cold. Yep, it gets pretty cold. Sometimes I have to put some gloves on and a hat on, but it's gonna get done no matter what.
I saw you representing UMass with one of your beanies on, and I was like, there he goes. That's the man right there.
That's where I went to school, my alma mater.
No kidding.
Yep, philosophy.
Okay, so let me ask you this. When you're not out on the street grinding down the miles, what are things that you enjoy doing? What's something that Matt does? Because in your line of work, it's got to be stressful. There's got to be... There's got to be some conversations. There's got to be some daily inputs that put a little bit of stress and strain on you, because where you're assisting others with dealing with whatever they're going through. What is it outside the daily mile that Matt does to help him get through the day and help his family? And, what's something you do for you?
I love spending time with my family. My wife and my son are my world. My son is...
That's outstanding.
8 years old and just is the light of my world, and I see them every single day.
Yes, sir.
And they make me extremely happy and keep me going. So I spend a lot of time with them. I'm also into drones. Flying drones.
What? Percussion? Oh, Matt, if I could see you right now, brother, I'd hug on you.
Those drones that fly in the air?
Yes, sir.
I'm actually a FAA Part 107 certified remote pilot.
And that's funny. I was saying percussion because initially I thought you said drums, but I love the idea of drones. there's so much you can do with that. Do you ever use them for like a side business, or do you currently just do it because of your love for the aviation and flying them around?
For a while, I was doing it for purely recreational purposes, and I
Yes,
still
sir.
do. But once in a while, I have like a gig where I take pictures and videos of real estate. I've done a couple of those, and I'll get paid for it. So I do a
Wow.
little bit of that, but mostly it's for recreational purposes only.
I like that, Matt, because one of the things, with me being involved in safety, a lot of professional drone pilots are actually using, similar to what you're saying, you're doing it for real estate, but they'll fly over construction sites or
Yeah.
potential projects and stuff and say, hey, here's an overview of what you're working on. That is great. Is that something that's difficult to get into? Is that something where, hand and eye coordination are paramount to getting great photographs, or are things, so digitized and really well manufactured that it makes it a lot easier than what most people would think?
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes it's just literally fly out of the box.
Huh.
You have like a handheld video monitor that you look through to see, what pictures you want to take. But you're supposed to keep your eyes on a drone at all times.
Okay.
So it's pretty straightforward, literally out of the box, and you can get them at Walmart, Amazon, and stuff like that.
So how long had you been involved with the drones? And
A couple years now.
wow.
I used to own like 3 drones. And then I ended up selling some of them and getting better ones. But now I only have 2 drones, and I want to just stick to 2
Huh.
because
What?
it's an expensive hobby.
I can imagine. I was going to say, what's the average flight time when you put a drone up? I imagine, with it being electrical, what's the average flight time for one of those?
It's about 25 minutes or so, depending on the wind conditions and stuff like that, temperature. But usually about 25 minutes to 30 minutes.
That's something else. For some reason, I thought it'd be shorter, just because, like, if you're operating a camera system and you got the flight controls and you're trying to maintain this. For some reason, I thought it'd be smaller. And I've got no drone experience. I promise you that. One of the things I tried with my son, he had this little helicopter, not truly a drone. It was just a little toy that he had. I think it was radio frequency, and I was trying to fly it around, and I think I took one of his eyes out, maybe a couple of eyebrows, I'm not sure. But, just trying to control what you did, that's something else. I guess, with the hand-eye coordination and the intense, okay, make sure I'm inside this area. Have you ever had any run-ins with birds or anything that you just
Oh
did?
yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. I was doing some photography of the Connecticut River, and there was a lot of birds, hovering around my drone,
Wow.
and I had to literally like fly away from them, and they would keep, coming at my drone. I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And technically, you're supposed to fly the drone up higher. But
Oh, okay.
I did the opposite. I just kept like running away from, flying away from them, and I was concerned that they were gonna fly into my drone. I mean, the drone that I was flying cost me over $1,000.
Wow.
I can't afford to just let it sink into the river.
That is something else. And now, Matt, well, I'm going to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I think you ought to invest in one of those drones. I don't know how it works. I've seen a couple of things on TikTok. I've seen it on Instagram. There's a device that they strap onto themselves, and as they're moving, skiing, surfing, whatever, this drone flies with them and videos them. So while you're doing your daily mile, that'd be neat if this little drone thing was just following you and keeping track of all the people that are stalking you on your run and everything. I think that would be neat. I'm going to have to look in for all the listeners listening. If you think or you have the ability to, Matt needs that kind of drone. You need to send us the information. Matt needs that available. plus some recharging stations. Let's make this happen.
Donations appreciated.
So, Matt, getting back again, because one of the first things when I got on TikTok, and I can't remember if it was like the 10th video, I mean, it was really quick when I saw yours, and I saw the inspiration. What kind of thing inspires you, because when I saw yours, I knew I wanted you on the show, because just the simplicity of what you did made my day. It made me realize that, if I just got into, one pattern or one trend or one thing, my day would be better. And you doing the Daily Mile inspired me, because it's been so long since I've been able to walk that distance, just because of issues I have with my knee from my time in the military. But the things I saw you doing and the number of responses, it just impressed me, because I saw people that were supposed to be influencers that didn't have the following you did. And so if I may ask, what inspired you, outside the Daily Mile, what inspired you to go onto TikTok and record that and be an inspiration to people like myself and others?
Great question. I have a professional photography account on Instagram, so I wanted to keep that separate from the Daily Mile videos. And
okay,
I've had this TikTok account for a while. I would use it on and off. I would mostly, do funny videos, but I ended up deleting all of those funny videos and just dedicating them to the Daily Mile run.
Well, it's inspirational, brother. I'm telling you, I don't know where you got the idea, where it came from, but it's sensational. The simplicity of it is what makes it so great, because you're not trying to tell people, hey, get up, do this, do that. It's the simple fact that you're like saying, good afternoon, hello, good morning, good evening, because it seems that you do your mile at different hours, whenever available or whenever it's possible. And that's inspiring, because you don't make any excuses. I love the fact that, hey, this is 140, this is 141. It may be this time, but you do not fail.
Thank you. There are days where when I'm running the Daily Mile, and I dread the day when I miss it. I don't want that to happen. But one of the things I've learned from my friend Crew Mahoney is you got to take it one day at a time.
Yes, sir.
I would love to get to day, 365 or day 400. And I will get there one day at a time.
Yes, sir.
I actually follow another person that I've been inspired. She goes by the handle, Daily Run with Za on Instagram. And she's been running 5-6 miles a day for the past 20 years. It's amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing. So both Crew and the Daily Run with Za inspire me and have inspired me. So it's many people. And, I would also say the people that follow me on my TikTok, the people that comment, I will read every comment. I try to respond to every comment, but my days get pretty hectic.
I imagine so.
But I will read every comment and at least like it. And there have been many times where I, dedicated my runs to my followers. I really appreciate them. They, in some way keep me going.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to let them down if I were to take a day off or something happens.
God forbid, man. I mean,
that ain't gonna happen. No.
Right. I was gonna say that's not something I see you letting anybody down. Because, like I said, simplicity in its greatest form is something amazing. And looking at what you did, that just, it inspired me. And you have a clear and concise message. You're just doing a simple task. And it's not as simple as it sounds, people. If you're just coming in, Matt does what's called the Daily Mile. And it's not just going 1 mile, but we're talking about possibly some austere conditions, temperatures, traffic, things like that. And, it's not just getting out and going out and doing a mile, but after a heavy day, after, family needs and work needs and things like that, being able to muster up that strength and that mental attitude and saying, I've got to get this done.
Exactly.
And that is something, again, that I find amazing. Even though in the military, we got up at 0330, 0400 in the morning, got out and do this. But the flexibility you give yourself, but the diligence and make sure, okay, I can't do it this morning, I'm going to do it this afternoon, I'm going to do it this evening. What are some of the benefits you think you've gotten from doing this daily mile for so long? And where would you like to see yourself in the future? Is it always a mile, or is it sometimes a mile and a half, 2 miles? I mean, how do you determine how far you're going to go for that day?
It's a great question. What I've noticed since starting the daily mile is my ability to handle stress has improved tremendously. I've only been a supervisor for 1 year, and in the past year, I've gotten more gray hair than in my entire life so far.
I can't even imagine the stress you're going to have work, rather than, outside of the stress you're getting from TikTok followers going, hey, Matt, get on my podcast. I mean, just the work alone's got to be huge.
Yeah, my day is pretty busy. And I just get it done. Everybody at work knows that the job's going to get done, and they can count on me. And I credit this to the daily mile. If I wasn't doing the daily mile, I probably would get a nervous breakdown or
God forbid,
or something, because it's very stressful. And I really believe the daily mile run has helped me handle whatever comes at me,
Yes, sir.
And running the mile isn't a lot. I mean, it takes me like 10 minutes or so to run a mile. It's really not that bad. But the reason why I do it is because I want to increase my mental strength, and I want to run no matter what. Because it's tough to get out the door when it's like 10 degrees out. When it's
Absolutely.
raining,
Most
when
people
it's
will not
snowing.
have the tenacity to get out and do that in that weather.
Or I'm tired, or I just want to relax.
Yes, sir.
I worked late, and I just want to relax. Nope. I got to go for my run. Things will have to wait. Dinner will have to wait. Family will have to wait. I got to get the mile in. That's going to happen. That is the test for me, more than cardiovascular fitness.
Yes, sir. Well, let me ask you this, Matt. A lot of athletes, and not just professional, just people getting started out. What would you say is a regimen you do before or after you go to your run? Do you do like a protein? Do you hydrate? Is there something you give as advice to people that may start doing this, daily mile? What would be a way to build up and then recover from doing that as consistently as you do?
There's actually a backstory to all this. I'm thankful to be able to walk.
Wow.
About a year ago, actually on January 25th, 2002, I suffered an emergency situation where I required immediate back surgery.
Oh, geez, brother.
Otherwise, I would have been paralyzed from the waist down.
Oh, man.
I hurt it in my disc for the second time.
The second time?
Yeah.
One wasn't enough for you?
Nope, I had to do it again.
Oh, God forbid.
2 year.
I'm sorry, brother. Please continue.
It's all good. I kid you not, 2 years apart, around the same time. I kid you not. I was in excruciating pain. I had to miss work a lot. It's tough being in pain and doing play therapy with kids on the floor. Somehow managed to do it. But, you know, when it got real bad, I was in a real dark place
Oh,
where I was struggling with thoughts of suicide. Um, I was in a real dark place, and I just could not keep going.
God bless you, brother.
And
God bless you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I don't know if you've heard my previous podcast. I actually attempted suicide my last year in law enforcement, so I can completely understand that mental space that you were in at that time, but not for the same reason. I mean, God forbid, the pain that you had to go through. Mine was psychological, and they had certain things going on with metformin and Wellbutrin that contributed to that. So I can't imagine what it's based off of, the pain and the suffering that you were going through.
And I just want to say, I thank you for sharing that with me, and I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here. I'm so grateful for you and your time and your openness, to people that are listening to this.
Thank you. I've experienced it's medical trauma that impacts me to this day.
God bless you.
It's a daily struggle, so, I just made it in time. My doctor said, if you waited a few more days to like a week, you would have been paralyzed.
Oh, Matt. Damn.
It was that bad. When I started doing PT, and they found out the diagnosis that I had, their mouths would literally drop and say, you're thankful to have no issues.
Absolutely.
I'm still recovering, but when I got out of the hospital, I started walking every single day, like Frankenstein.
Oh, well, hell, Frankenstein's a movie star, so you keep going, brother. You keep throwing that out there. Hey, there's no shame in your game.
Thank you. So I started, walking like Frankenstein, and I could not run. The nerves would not allow me to run.
I can't imagine.
It's you just can't. No matter how much you want to, you just can't. And then over time, I just started to run a little bit, and now I'm able to run like a 10-minute mile. So I'm thankful. Literally, I am thankful every single day to be able to walk and run, because so many people can't, and I could have been one of those people.
Absolutely, brother. God bless you. I mean, I hope you keep going. One day, you're close to the area, Boston Marathon. Hell, just to walk it,
Yeah.
And especially if you had that much trauma to your spine and everything, where you got into that dark spot and took into consideration, hey, let's unalive this and get out of this.
Yeah.
God bless. I can't imagine the PT that you had to go through in order to, compensate and trying to come out of that. And one of the things I found beneficial to me, I don't know if you've ever used it, is infrared heating pads. Those lights are nice. They help.
I heard those before, but I never used them. I actually do ice baths in the morning.
Oh, okay. So let's not just do a mile. Let's dunk ourselves in ice cubes.
And that's another way for me to kind of build up my resiliency. But I also feel that it helps with my neuropathy. That's one of the reasons why.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I have those Clifton running shoes, those Hoka ones, because they're good for neuropathy.
Yes, sir.
I can feel everything with my feet, but it's I still have a little bit of neuropathy in there. So, and I truly believe that each day that I run, I am getting better. I'm recovering from my surgery.
I would never have thought about that, other than the ice baths helping with the inflammation and everything else. I would not have thought about that. I am glad you shared that. Jeez, we gotta start you an OnlyFans page, because just the simple things that you're going through would help so many.
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to take things for granted,
Right.
And I'm guilty of that many times, taking things for granted. It took having an emergency surgery and almost losing my ability to run, walk, and do other things. It took that for me to, really have appreciation for the ability to walk, the
Yes,
ability
sir.
to go to the bathroom, because I couldn't even do that before the surgery. It was brutal. I was living a nightmare that I could not get out of. It was a very dark time in my life, and I could not be, and I wouldn't have been able to make it through without the support of my family and my friends. I have some of the best friends in the world, but it was a very dark time. I don't know how I got through it. I'd like to share something very personal, if I may, but I'm not supposed to be here.
No, you're supposed to be here.
When I was born, I died, and I came back to life. It's a miracle that I'm even here, and I remember, being in that dark place, being in so much pain with the recovery process and what I've been through this past year. And I remember my wife telling me, "Matt, you conquered death."
Absolutely, and thank God you did, brother. I mean, I can't even imagine being born and going through that, and then, as you get older and then having the issues that you did. I mean, true to God. I mean, you were an inspiration, especially coming, from such a point in your life at a very early age where you weren't supposed to hypothetically, make it and progress
Right.
to the level that you are now. But then to go through the suffering that you did as an adult or preteen, whatever the, period of time was, and then say, hey, I am this badass. I'm making it this far. There is a reason, a purpose, and a divine reason that I'm getting to this point. And I just feel bad because of the suffering you had to do prior to all that or after all that.
And I sincerely appreciate your compassion, Alan. I don't know why things happened the way they did. I don't know why the moment that I was born, it was
Yes, sir.
traumatic. The very point of my start of my existence was trauma. I have not had an easy life. I
Doesn't
immigrated.
sound like it.
I've immigrated to the United States from Poland. I was born in Poland. Went through all sorts of negative experiences. But I'm here.
Well, I'm glad you're here, brother. I'm sorry for all the suffering you did. I'm sorry for all the stuff, and that's one thing, being an empathetic person. We look at the stuff that others went through, and hopefully others did the same. And, I say, oh, I'm glad I didn't have to go through that, but I'm glad that you shared those experiences. So if I find somebody that's, suffering or having a similar thing, it's like, you know what? Thanks to Matt's bravery and saying, hey, this is what I went through. This is what it was like to get through this. Be there for people, because it's hard for us to reach out when we're in pain, because we want to appear strong, because we are.
Yeah.
We want to appear positive, because we are, to our core. But the fact that makes it so much better is not only did you go through this, not only did you feel this, you still came out and you blazed trails, whether it's the mile, whether it's just a few steps, with everything you went through, you still progressed. You said, I'm not to be held back. I'm not to be, anchored down by my past or something like that. And that makes you even 3 times, 100 times more important than what we thought you were before. So God forbid, and I'm sorry for all the struggles, and I'm sorry for everything you went through. But
Thank you.
with the strength and the passion and everything that you're displaying now, I don't know if it had been possible had you not been through that, but I hate the fact that you did. And
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
thankful
it's,
that you
it's,
came on the show to talk to us about that.
It's my pleasure, and what a paradox, huh?
Yes, sir. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. You know, what I hate is that, there's such a short time that we can do this on the show, because there's so much, Matt, that you could teach us. There's so much that you could share with us. There's so much that I truly believe, just from watching your TikTok, just from watching that would improve the lives of others, although you had to pay the price. But let me ask you this, because I do have to keep this within the time frames. What are you going to do when your followers and fans get over 1 million? There's no worries about you inspiring them. But are you going to start a clothing or a shoe line or a gym? Just the simple things that you do. People are going to want more from you. What would you say would be a 5-year plan from, the Daily Mile? What is something that you would like people to take away from not only the Daily Mile and not only from the interview, but what kind of message do you want there to get out to them to say, hey, if you forget my name, if you forget this, don't forget this?
That is a great question, and I wish I had an answer for this. The one thing that shows up for me is all of us can do this.
Yes, sir.
I'm nothing special.
Yes, you are, brother. Don't say that. I apologize. I don't mean to diss you, but yeah, you are something special. I promise you that.
Thank you. My commitment to getting it done, no matter what. I hope that will inspire people to face challenges in
That's
their daily
amazing.
lives, maybe 5 years from now on, or whatever. I want to still do the daily mile. I want to do it. I want to do it until I can't.
Well, I hope you keep doing it. Just by
Thank
the
you,
way.
thank you. But but to try to answer your question is, I want people to remember that all of us have this strength, and life is hard. There is suffering, and we sometimes we have to push through it. There are days where I don't want to go for the run. I just want to stay home and watch TV. But the biggest thing that has helped me, that I'd like to share with my followers and your listeners, is don't give yourself the option to quit.
Oh, that's the most beautiful thing I've heard. I'm sorry, that truly is. Don't give yourself the option to quit. That Matt, that you should make a T-shirt. I'm sorry, you need to get that out there as soon as possible. That's copyrighted by Matt right now. I don't want to see it out on anybody else.
Donations appreciated.
I have to get my wife to make you a shirt that says that.
That'd be great.
Absolutely. If anybody else tries to bust his copyright, trademark, whatever, I'll come out and I'll kneecap the shit out of you. No disrespect. Excuse my language, Matt.
And I would approve that.
Well, Matt, before we let go of all the listeners and stuff, how can people find and connect with you, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram? What's the best way for them to see the Daily Mile and see the empathy and the love and the determination of Matt?
Sure. So I have 2 accounts. I have a TikTok account. My TikTok handle is Matouie Louie. That's MatouieLouie. That's a nickname I got from when I was in high school.
Wow.
From an English teacher. And I have an Instagram account. It's a lot simpler than the other name. It's just Matt Adam Photography 01027.
I've got to stalk you on that now, brother. To be professional and be consistent, I've got to find you on there.
Thank you.
Well, Matt, before we go, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to? Is there anybody you'd like to give some affirmation to? Whether it's your followers, your friends, people that have just been showering you with love. Is there any last message you'd like to give before we end the show, unfortunately, because there's so much that this guy could teach all of us. All of us.
I have some of the best friends in the world. Mike, Chris, Tom, Russell. I just, the list just goes on and on. I'm so thankful for my followers. I just seeing the regulars every day is just, it amazes me.
Yes, sir.
But I like to just give a shout out to my inspiration, Crew Mahoney. He's on TikTok. I watch his videos all the time. He's been a tremendous source of inspiration. This guy is just amazing. He's ran the Daily Mile for over 1,700 days. And
wow.
So I have a lot of sources of inspiration. It's just, so there's a lot of people to be thankful for and appreciative. But I just love the friends I have, and I'm just so thankful for them and for all of the TikTok community that follows me. Just I really enjoy reading their messages, their likes, and their support. It's just they keep me going.
Matt, that is outstanding. And I kind of want to apologize and say, you're going to increase with that. Hopefully, with everybody listening to the show, they're going in and saying, I'm going to go follow Matt. I need some eye candy. I need some motivation. I'm going to get out there. So, I want to apologize for any stalkers or anything that acquires from this, but I want to thank you because the thousands of people that are going to listen to this, I'm going to say millions, but it's going to take a while because some people are a little slow because of daily activities, things like that. Mm-hmm. But ladies and gentlemen, please think about this. Matt Marcinowski, and Matt, I apologize if I said that incorrectly.
You said it correctly, actually.
Okay. Matt Marcinowski, you got to follow him on TikTok, Instagram, and in life. If you want inspiration, if you want a purpose and a reason just to get out, take that first step and improve your life, this is the man that's going to make it happen. Thank you for joining us. Matt, God bless you, and may you continue to, inspire people the way you did myself, just simply by saying good morning. And that is what caught me, and that is what's hooked me onto you. And I'm not stalking, not yet, not inappropriately. It's in an HR professional manner. But God bless you, brother.
I give you permission.
Well, God bless you. Thank you for everything you do for us globally. Thank you for being inspirational. Thank you for that morning affirmation. That first step is always the most important. And God bless you. Thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, for all of our listeners, again, Matt Marcinowski, follow him on TikTok, follow him on Instagram, and follow the inspiration he gives for life. Thank you,
Alan,
here.
so much. Thank you. It's truly an honor to be on here, and I really appreciate the invitation and our conversation.
Well, brother, we're going to have you back on. I can promise you that.
I would love to.
I just got a thing from the producer saying that, oh my God, the listening points, stuff like this. We definitely want to have you back. Matt, thank you, brother. Thank you for giving us a chance to have you on. I know that you're probably going to be on like 10, 20, 30 other shows now after this, but that's okay. Just send us an autographed copy of your T-shirts, please, so we can wear it while we're doing the Daily Mile.
You got it.
All right, y'all. This is Alan Wolford. You've been listening to Diary of a Bald Man with Matt Marcinowski. God bless you. Plan, prepare, communicate, and engage in life one step at a time. Now get the hell out of here and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Take care. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to the Diary of a Bald Man. How do you feel? A little dizzy? Maybe a little nauseous? That was one hell of a ride, I know. It's our passion to make you feel as uncomfortable as possible. We hope you've enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, Google Alan the Safety Guy. You'll find all the socials there. Connect with us, or else. See you next time on Diary of a Bald Man.